How's it going, y'all? Rafa the Pickleball Tech Dude here, and right now I am holding the regen of a paddle that I thought we were never going to see again. This is the Luz Cannon, and I'm going to skip pretty much the review part of this video by just telling you that this is essentially a JOOLA Mod TA15. The only reason I say essentially is because the foam does extend a little bit further down in the paddle than it does in the Mod TA, but everything else, especially when it comes to the measurable specs, which you'll see in a moment, are either improved upon or identical to the mod. Now, having a mod clone in and of itself isn't a big deal. We've seen knockoffs of JOOLA, Selkirk, Carbon, and other Gen 3 and Gen 4 manufacturers' products numerous times. The primary difference in this case is that the Luz Cannon is already UPA approved. Let me show y'all why that's a big deal. For those of you who may not be aware, there are two governing bodies for paddles in pickleball. There's UPA-A, which governs paddles for MLP and PPA touring pros only, and then USA Pickleball that essentially regulates everything else. All amateur play and all pro play that is not on the PPA and MLP tour. Essentially, 99.99% of amateur tournaments that you play are always going to be technically USA Pickleball rules. But tell me the last time you showed up to one of these tournaments and had one of your paddles challenged or checked. Exactly. Most amateur tournaments will never check your paddle depending on their size, and even those that do, as long as it is on USAP or typically UPA-A's list, those paddles will be accepted. So like I was saying earlier, and the reason why you would never typically see me talking about a paddle clone of a very powerful paddle is because typically those clones are simply Alibaba or third-party paddles that are marked to look like the original paddles, and they've never actually gone through the approval process and technically should never be allowed at any tournament play. So the reason I'm talking about this now is that the Luz Cannon is already UPA-A approved and is in the queue for USAP approval. A paddle which is a clone of the mod, which was never approved on UPA-A's list due to the power and is set to be sunset by USAP on July 1st of this year, is now getting approved. Not only is it already on an approval list, which is more exclusive than USA Pickleballs, but it's also only $109. Here are the measurable specs on the Luz Cannon in comparison to the Mod TA15, and this will bring me to the ultimate reason why I think this video is important. You'll notice with the power and pop, they are very similar, but it is slightly toned down. The exact same twist weight as the mod, the exact same Perseus shape as the mod, and when it comes to spin and swing weight, there is actually an improvement as the Luz Cannon is the 16mm variant. There are only two things I want to stick with you about the Luz Cannon playtesting wise. And that is that the power is extreme, just like the Mod 16, and borderline uncontrollable for anybody under the 4.0 level. So I would not get this paddle unless you are very confident in controlling a very powerful paddle. The second thing is that post break-in, I did feel a lot of structural integrity, especially around the top edges near the foam, which I do think happened on a faster rate than the mod did. So I would not expect this paddle to be very durable. I do expect that they're still using compressed cores, and I would not expect it to last you very long. With all that said, I don't want to spend more time on this paddle than I have to, so here is my main point. It is not my job to say what paddles are legal or illegal. I am not a paddle manufacturer. I'm not a governing body. While I know and understand every step of all the testing levels, it is not my job to scrutinize the way that procedures are played out. What is my job is to know that one of the main goals of 2025 for UPA-A and USAP was to slow the game down. And UPA-A, by approving a paddle like the Luz Cannon, is showing a commitment exactly to the opposite. And this is all coming from me, somebody who thoroughly enjoyed playing the Rhombus Ripple when it was still legal. The best I can hope for is this video promotes some kind of reflection or review of current testing protocols and really reinforces the idea that very concrete and structurally sound destructive testing is going to be needed just as a first step towards really slowing the game down. But again, with all that said, that's going to end this sort of op-ed video from me. Thank you so much for watching and for your support. If you made it here to the end, make sure you like, subscribe, and comment down below if you liked the video or if you learned anything. And I hope you all stay happy and healthy, and of course, away from those Luz cannons. Until the next video. Peace.